Yeah, it's a very small footprint, as you say, but very high performance. It's got 30,000 RPM spindle, but only 1200 mil across the front of the machine. It's 60 metres a minute rapid rate, but even more impressive is the 60 metres feed rates that you can have on the machine. And that comes as an option. We're waiting for it to come in at the moment, a 12 pallet loading facility on there.
And it's a really high accuracy machine, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, the guarantee is 2 microns positional accuracy, but the repeatability is 1 micron, so it is exceptionally accurate. I mean, as the name suggests, it is geared for the medical market, but of course, there's a lot of other applications that it could be used for.
Of course. Now, tell me more about that medical market as well. Why is it geared towards that industry?
I think Kitamura saw, even before the COVID problem, a big demand coming up in medical parts that are needed, particularly hip replacement joints or other bone orthopedic type parts.
Could you illustrate something that showcases that? Is there particular parts that you don't think you could machine as fast, or you don't think you could turn around as quickly?
Well, compared to manual machining, I mean, we couldn't program some of the parts we do. We do such complex 5-axis parts now, we simply could not program manually. It has to be done on CAD. And we've used other CAD systems before, and as far as I'm concerned, hyperMill's been streets ahead of what we used before.
Mark, we visited you a few years ago. You were using OpenMind's hyperMill software, which you still are. And in fact, you've invested in more modules now, haven't you?
We have.
Can you talk to us about the advancements you've made and developments you've made using their software?
Yeah, so we recently just added the multiple origins option. We had a couple of jobs that were giving us problems where we had 10 micron concentricities from one side of the part to the other. We were only managing at the time, because it was a big part, to achieve around 25 microns. So we added the multiple origins that enabled us just to reprobe the component to just bring it in line to enable us to achieve that tolerance.
So this is a bed type milling machine, and it has 6 axes. So in the X-axis we've got 2.5 metres, and in the Y and the Z is 1.5 metres, 30 metres a minute high feed rate. 2 axes are on 2 indexing axes on the UAD head, and 1 continuous axis, which is that rotating square pallet table. Now let's talk about that head. The ISO 50 Big Plus, this is interesting, right? It has 364 million positions, and the machine has 33 kilowatts at 900 Newton meters of torque continuously. That is a lot of power.
Ian, Abbey Tool & Gauge has been very happy with the transition across to Rocol. How did you see it going from a Rocol perspective?
Yeah, it's been a great success story, Joe. It's went really smooth. We've changed all the machines, we cleaned them out and started afresh. So yeah, really smooth. One of the better ones.
And that's a better way of doing it rather than topping up old coolant.
Depends on the product, to be honest. The particular product we put in here, we decided the best route was to clean the machines out and start afresh. There was key differences between the old product and the product that we proposed. So yeah, we took that choice.
And there's lots of advantages coming across to your product, and they're not all financial, things like environmental savings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been chatting this door probably for about a decade now. Eventually Ian and Alistair gave us opportunity, listened to us. I think they were a bit sceptical at first about the projected savings, but yeah, we started with 1 machine, we trialled it, we had a message on reducing their usage, which obviously includes their spend, and reducing their carbon footprint.
Yeah, so we've seen a video earlier when we talked about the dormer, and you could possibly see some of the imperfections on the material, and that's purely because what we want to try and do is have a look at, yes, you can actually run a tool stable but a really high metal removal rate, yeah. But when you want to start looking at the actual surface finish for, I don't know, thin wall machining, you can actually utilize the software to actually look at the accuracy expectations and the surface finish. Oh. So when you see the dashboard again, yeah, at the bottom of the screen, you'll actually see where you can actually get surface finish.
So if we could just go back to the dashboard there.
Yeah. Yep. So if you look further on down, you can actually see now a graph there where we can actually see where the lower that structured line there, the better the surface finish.
So Lee, you're in charge of turning here at Sandvik Coromant. You've got 2 new grades you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's right, Joe.
So Luke, we're doing a lovely little demo on this squab at CIS. EN24T is the material, and we're high feeding it initially, and then we're trying to find out the differences between a ball nose and a barrel cutter. So just tell us a little more.
Ian, you brought us to Driven Engineering down in Havant. Now, this is quite a typical company that you're getting involved with automation. Could you tell me a little bit about the journey?
You imagine though, Gavin, that you look at these academies now, and these young learners are really learning every aspect from a 5-axis machine tool down, let's say, down to software and metrology, where basically they can walk away from that college once they pass it, say, and hit the floor running. Very different to how you did it, and I know you have as well, Gio, who's been an apprentice.
Yeah. I don't know that it is that much different. It's branded differently and it's much more in your face, but actually the training that we received back then is probably not so different. We have an apprentice now with CG Tech Limited since September last year. He's the first CG Tech apprentice, and he's in his first year at college, off the job training at college. And I've been and visited the college, and actually it doesn't look so different. They still have Bridgeport machines.
Brilliant. They still have handles.
They still have handles, yeah. Yeah. So, and the assignments that he's got to do, they're newer and they're making different things that are perhaps more relevant today, but a lot of it is very similar.
Yeah, I think it's you've got to start, on manual machinery and learn your trade. In my opinion, 100%. Now, Gavin B, we're going to refer to you during this podcast as Gavin B.
That's fine.
We've got 2 Gavins today. Now, Gavin, tell us a little bit about your background, why you got into engineering. You've again, as mentioned in the introduction, you've worked at some fantastic companies.
I'd like to think I have. Yeah, stayed my time. I got involved very young. I wanted to join the RAF and become an engineer on aircraft, but I was too young. So I joined a YTS scheme. I joined a local engineering company that was just down the road from me, quite a large one, Muirhead Vactric. And I just went there for 4 weeks of work experience, and they managed to take me on. So I got an apprenticeship, if you like, through the back door. And I was only 15 when I left school. So I started my apprenticeship when I was 16. And I went into the tool room, which was the place where you wanted to be. Everyone else, CNC machines, grinders, auto setters. I actually got into the tool room, which was the place to be. So I got into the tool room, and I was just interested in engineering from day one. I like to know how things work, and I love Lego. I love building stuff. I like taking things apart, not necessarily being able to put them together again, which is why I know this guy. So it's like, Gav, I've taken this apart, help me out. So yeah, and I it's that engineering brain,
Are you ready for our MTD magazine, the May issue? Because you'll be getting your copy in the post any day now. As always, another bumper issue with 84 pages packed with unique and insightful content. So what's May's issue all about? Well, our medical sector report discusses the rapidly evolving sector, especially in light of the COVID pandemic. As an industry that is double the size of the UK civil aerospace sector, any changes here can have a big impact on UK manufacturing. We also have an interview with Professor Keith Ridgway, OBE and CBE, and founder of the AMRC Sheffield and Executive Chair of the AFRC in Strathclyde. He discusses the UK industrial strategy and why the UK is falling down on levelling up. The technology focus in this issue is all about measurement, and we kick this section off with Dr. Christian Young, highlighting the impact metrology can have on sustainability. And we also have an MTD exclusive competition where you can win a set of mountain bike pedals courtesy of Mitutoyo and Pembrey. I know Mark Dedman might like that one too. In the software section, we'll be looking back at the recent MTD live event at CG Tech, where I discussed Vericut Force and its applications at the SECO Technical Centre. Continuing with the medical theme, we have another exclusive from Younes Chahid. Now, he's been named as one of IMECI's 35 rising stars to watch under 35. And he talks us through how additive is revolutionising hip joint designs and manufacture. Really interesting. In the machining section, we interview JWA Tooling, a company that has invested heavily in new machine tools, even through the pandemic. And we discuss why they bought Mazak Machining Centres and how it was an MTD video that prompted them to buy their first Mazak 5-axis machine. We also take a look at ForgeAw and how this company has launched a £179 plug-and-play system to plug into your machine tool and give you access to never-been-seen-before data and insights. And of course, we'll have all the latest from the world of cutting tools, our What's New section, and so much more. And don't forget my favourite section, the Spot the Difference as well. You won't forget. Right, please don't forget to click on the QR codes inside with your mobile phone camera and watch the associated MTD video. And don't forget that you can listen to features in our magazine. Just search for MTD Audiobook in your favourite podcast platform. A massive thank you, as always, to our advertisers for all of your support. Enjoy the issue.